All right, people, here's part two. Today's February 5th, 2022. Just a little bit more of the good news on the scene in spite of some news releases, okay? And how you really can do something. I didn't make it clear in the last talk. Okay, here's a little thing from Newsweek magazine, exclusive. It came out Friday, yesterday on the 4th. Exclusive. The Ukraine crisis could lead to a nuclear war under the new U.S. strategy. The new U.S. strategy can lead us to a nuclear war. Really? And now John Bolton, Trump's security advisor, you know, the one Trump called Mr. World War VI, he says if Trump had won, you know, again in this recent election, the Russians would be in Ukraine. You see, he's claiming that, whatever that means, right? So here it is. For the non-nuke cyber first steps, our non-nuclear type strategies that we'll be using, right, could confuse, though. You see different strategies building up the physical military, the tanks and the airplanes and all this stuff, right? And the cyber stuff could confuse an adversary. Yeah, for looking like the real thing, you see? Yeah. Interesting. And they talk about how the stability of preventing a nuclear war, the methods we used over the last 70 years are now obsolete. So last June, the U.S. didn't know this, right? Set up the largest setting. These are war games. Over 100 jets. The U.S. and Canada together set up these over 100 jets and then the ground troops, right? At 9 bases, northern Canada, Alaska, and Greenland, you see, to counter the aggression of a Russian bomber. You see? Yeah. Someone was telling Biden, this is in June, that there would be a Russian bomber. We've always been told that. So we're going to get specific now. Here's the catch. Oh, good thing. We didn't tell you completely in the last call because it's kind of hard to believe if I tell you what you can do by telling you you've been doing it. But switch, pivot from you to people in Washington. You might think, God, they're in some high up position, right? And you aren't. Well, they went and got that position. Some people look at you and your job, profession, whatever, and think, wow, that's amazing. You have that job, and you think you both have the ability to know and the right to tell someone whether they could or not also. You can see it, yeah, if they want to do it, you know. But the thing is this is how all things occur. These are references by this guy, Hubbard, okay? In publications, like he has a series of lectures. One series is called The State of Man. See it? The State of Man Congresses, okay? Yep. I think these were 1960, right, around when Kennedy was elected, all right? Yeah, and which is modern times. He gave these talks, and these talks are given after 20-some years of research before that, out of his pocket, this Hubbard guy, yeah. He was just a researcher. He was a naval officer, lieutenant, and then he got into this research and stuff, yeah. He was a writer. He wrote action, adventure, romance. Go check. That's his record. He wrote for the magazines back then. That's who he wrote for. It's called pulp, you know, like pulpwood, pulp paper, you know, pulp fiction it's called. Yeah, that era. There was a movie about it. Who did it? Travolta? I didn't see the movie. So, Hubbard wrote about action, adventure, romance. No, he's not a science fiction writer. That's all a crap, nor is his findings Scientology science fiction. Oh, no, they aren't. No. Check out what he wrote. At the end of the career, again, the leaders of the science fiction world came to him and said, hey, Ron, you know, you're a pretty good writer. Would you maybe write some stuff for us, sort of humanize science fiction a little? Okay, so he did that at the end of the career. He wasn't a science fiction writer. Nah, it's all crap. And again, I never knew this. I gave you the definition of it in the last talk. I didn't know this. Science fiction isn't a fictional version of something that is real for us, like an egg beater is real to us, then you make a science-y, fictional, crazy, insane version of an egg beater. No, it's the opposite. It's before there was an egg beater. It's a plea. Would you make an egg beater? Wow! And then they make one. Yeah, I didn't know it. Well, thanks. Thanks to my next door neighbor, and he never explained why he read this stuff. This really normal guy. We're in a very upscale neighborhood. Vice president of our class, kind of a large prep school, blah, blah. Neat guy, good athlete, all that. Reading science fiction. He was way ahead of me. I thought, what are you reading this junk crap for? The point we're making is, we compared your life to the guys in D.C., right? That's a big life, yours not. Well, what can I tell you that'll be believable? Or realistic, I should say. Not believing, because there is no believing in any of this. Any of this stuff is not a belief thing. It's a knowingness thing. Remember the difference? Beliefs are fine. Would you rather believe somebody transferred, wired 100,000 to your account, or know it's there because you saw it at the ATM, You see? Yeah. There it is. It's a balance. Well, see, knowing is the best. Beliefs are sort of on the way toward a partial, leading to, hopefully, a knowingness. Yeah. Here's how all things occur. I didn't know this. I'm just glad that I found out. Again. All they have, I told you, it's the Scientology place, they just have one thing. One thing. They enable you to find out things that you already know. They don't know anything that you know, except that you know it, and you want to get rid of things that you haven't known for a while and sort of beneath the surface. You'll get the specifics on that. Go check it out. They're online. Go check it out. See what it is. So it's a nonprofit. So, a genius technology gifted it to a nonprofit and for ethical distribution. And ethics were the most difficult part, like with any organization. You can have one or two that weren't quite right and blah, blah, blah. The hell's that got to do with anything, A Catholic shoots somebody. What? Looks to me like a guy shot somebody. What does it do with being a Catholic? I don't understand. You see, there's a game of desperation and, to demonize people. Oh, no, the world doesn't do that. Only a small percent. We got into that. It's in that nice book. Here's the thing about you that I didn't know. We talked a little example that we asked if you've ever heard of or has it happened to you. And I heard it from you guys. I'm just one of you guys. You thought of someone and then the phone rings and it's them? Boo! And of course, I'm so unique in what I have to say. I would then say, but I don't know what you guys talked about, but you weren't using bodies to talk, right? Yeah. Beings aren't physical. They can cause a physical thing to do something, One of you guys talked to the other guy and then, got him to want to push a button on a physical thing, a phone, and he rang you and you answered your phone using bodies to talk. Yeah. You can talk with your bodies or not. Well, you did it. You're the ones that have done this. Don't blame me. So you can recover the rest of you underneath. Yeah. Oh, you want to do that. The doctors say you're using about, and we'll get to how you do it, the procedure. The doctors say you're using about 1/100th of the brain, right? That's fine. So they called you a meat part of a meat body. Well, after all, psychiatry has this as a lab animal. Come on. Right? Yep. They say you only go around once. Well, I was thinking the same thing. This meat body, they're calling me a meat body. No, the meat body, well, I don't think it'll do a second 100 years. To let it do the first, right? They say, you only go around once. You are a body. You're a meat body, right? Forgive the mask. We had a wreck, so we're covering an injury. Okay, good. So you're a meat body. All right. They say, and then then they cancel that because they say you are what you eat. Oh, so I'm a radish? At least making an apple. You see? The definition, before I tell how it works, Scientology is SCIO, S-C-I-O, like science. SCIO, SCIO. S-C-I-O, SCIO means knowing. Look it up. Knowing in the fullest sense, right? Knowing in the fullest sense, right? Not believe just about halfway in your or almost. No, it's knowing. All right? Okay, good. Knowing in the fullest sense, SCIO, like science, and then ology, the study of knowingness, knowing how to know things not being told or asked to believe. Ooh! So, what's psychiatry? Psyche would be spirit, right? Ology, study of spirits. Psychology is psychiatry, right? Study of spirits. That's good. Oh. But then how come they use a physical thing? They give a physical thing a pill to a physical thing, a body, to handle something that isn't physical? I don't know. But hey, I'm just a country bumper. Yep. So, So far, I was looking at the facts, the reports. So far, all of those mass shooters, you don't hear about them as much in the news recently, but all those mass shooters, right, were on or dying trying to get off of psych drugs, right? See, they hold up a picture of the shooter. See the shooter? No, that's not the shooter. No, it's called the guy in the background, the drug dealer in the white coats. You go to the shrink, you trust him. Hey, it's so normalized, it's pop culturized, And he says, well, one of the tricks they use, by the way, is a little sidebar. Two girls are having lunch. They leave the office, go out and have a bite to eat. And Mary says, well, Sue, what's going on with you lately? Oh, I've been kind of down. Well, how long? Actually, a few weeks. Really? I didn't notice it. There's depression. Yeah, I guess, some have gone to this guy. He's pretty good. He handles it. Okay. She goes, because it's so normalized in pop culture. So she goes to the shrink, right? And he says, well, thank you for showing. All right, we've done the tests, and you go ahead, head home, and we'll get back to you. So they call her in and say, well, sounds so honest anyway. Well, look, here's what you have. There's nothing we can do about it. No, it's too late. So they're admitting there's nothing they can do. That sounds honest, right? More of this normal, right? Yeah. So there you go. Some, maybe to maintain it or something, you can try these couple things that they work, not to shift around. You don't have any reactions, but that's about all we can do, There's not, hopefully to maintain, not have it get worse. You could, if you want, try this stuff, see, he said there's nothing we can do. The test, you believe him. And he's being so honest, nothing he can do. No. So here. And then the visits thereafter don't cost them anything. It's just renewing a prescription. It doesn't take doctor time. Yeah. So those people, they have these disorders. There's the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, DSM. There's a website, CCHR, Citizens Commission on Human Rights, that investigates psychiatric abuse. They're 51 years old, CCHR. They're a nonprofit. They have no income, just donations. They're in 39 countries with a physical presence or some with an affiliation, whatever. Go check their website. Scroll down to videos. And you'll see when it says torture or treatment, you see. By the way, the founder of CCHR was the psychiatrist, Dr. Thomas Zaz, S-Z-A-Z, a renowned Austrian psychiatrist, if there is such a thing. Well, let's see how he is. He wrote 2 books, The Manufacture of Madness and The Myth, of mental illness. That is, right? He says in there, the only way you can possibly harm someone is to take them to a psychiatrist. He makes the point he's never done any drugging or shopping. He founded CCHR, then Scientology helped to sponsor, so the kind of code, he's the founder. Yeah. And on their website, you'll see interviews of psychiatrists, decent people with a heart and a soul who care. They don't have the product, the method, but no, they care to tell you, and they're interviewing psychiatrists, yeah, good people, yeah, who say, listen, those other psychiatrists, they make that stuff up in their mind, those disorders, right? So they get get the money for the insurance, for the drugs, the insurance that you and I pay for, right? Yeah, these psychiatrists are telling you that. Go look at it. See how decent they sound. I thought they're pretty nice to be telling the truth, yeah. It's like car mechanics. Don't get rid of car mechanics. No, just because one was on the news, hidden camera, cheating people, stealing from, right? So we closed down mechanics? No. The mechanics, plural, weren't doing it. That guy was. So they get people on these drugs because you and I pay for it. When the drugs run out, they're both out, left on the street, dumped. That's where you see a lot of the homeless. Both an addict and believing bipolar of the toenail. And included in the disorders, yes, you are a flake. You're a jerk. What are you, insecure, bragging? We're at lunch. You're telling us you have jet lag, implying you travel a lot. That's so 90s. No! It's called jet lag disorder. Sure, spider's disorder. Math troubles in school? No. Mathematics disorder. Yeah, look it up. They actually were forcing parents to drug their kids. Yeah, on this crazy stuff. When they're just being a kid. Full of energy. Answer. They have climbing disorder, like kids that climb. Boy! Yeah, so there's decent people in all fields, and those psychiatrists are not less than decent. They came forth to talk. They don't have Hubbard's methods? No! That isn't the point. They don't lie and cheat. Or if they knew about Hubbard's methods, They wouldn't want to withhold those, no, because they work. All the Hubbard stuff is getting rid of things that are not you. It's junk. Leave it in the garbage can. Quit carrying around the stuff you don't know about, of course. So you see people in Washington. This gets back to the point. We told you in the last talk, some of those things being done aren't so good. Decent guys there, elected, but doing some things not so good, or some chronically not so good. Right, there's a way to handle that, we told you. But now we're going to talk about how you really can deal with them in ways that you've been doing and don't realize. This thing about ever thought of someone and then the phone rang and they're there. Yeah, you don't. Hey, that's your thing. Hey, that's not mine, that's yours. Or someone you knew, right? Probably you too. Wow, no, you didn't do that. Come on. We have to remind you that don't know what you guys are talking about, but you weren't using bodies to talk. Holy cow, I'm a not physical thing? I'm a not thing? Yeah, and because you are, those things that are wrong, how can you be things? Those things that are wrong are things. How can you be a thing when you're a not thing? No. Your beingness is not things, crap, junk, good or bad. No. Your doingness might not be so great in Washington or in the marriage. You know, the wife, you know, she has her whole heart, soul, and body into the world that she lives in. She counts on, and there was a break in the agreement, right? Or she might have, whatever, right? That's a big thing. You don't need anything bigger than your whole life. You know, Washington, no, that's not big. Your whole life is big. That's big enough, right? They're all big. So what can you do? There's a tape called Beings, and they use the Greek alphabet. Hubbard does. Theta, T-H-E-T-A, is Greek for thought. Theta is thought. Okay. And a thinker would be thetan. Thetan would be a thinker. Thought would be, you know, the theta. Okay. So, they call a being a thetan, a thinker. Okay, good. And theta is Greek for thought. A thinker and his thoughts. Oh, a thetan, a being, creates the tape. It's called, get a copy. A thetan, a being, creates by postulates. Post, to put something there. You put up a sign, you post it. You know, no hunting, no parking. You know, right? No crashing. Yeah. You post it. It's a person creates by posting, by putting, by declaring about, for, or toward, declaring that something will occur. All beings, you don't realize this. Yeah, thought precedes. Thought is boss. What's up? Thought is boss. It's so quick you don't realize it. Yeah, you thought of it before you did it, right? Look outside. People driving around, right? We're parked. We're here in Palm Beach, right? We don't drive while talking to the camera. We're so noble. We park, right? Look outside. See the people driving around? Look at them. Outdoors, wherever you are, right? In the neighborhood, right? Everything they have, they didn't have before they have it. Really? How'd they have it? They thought. It's quick. And then they made it. Or that didn't work, made something else. They ain't got nothing before they create it. And they create. A thetan creates by postulates, a post, declare about, for, toward it, that something will occur. It's going to happen. We'll have a good game. We're going to play a good game. We're going to make the sale today. We're going to have a happy marriage. Meet someone great. Yeah. Yeah. No more wars. Yeah. Joe Biden, he doesn't want wars. He has people that might lead him to think so or give false information, like George Bush had. Weapons of mass destruction. He said afterwards there were none. So we killed 165,000 humans. Even sport shooting families in cars. Some of the they're dangerous. You know, hot dogs. You know, saying, oh, they were dangerous. Sure, they were. You know, they were up on criminal charges, but greased their way out of it. So the point is this: Bush didn't want wars. He was lied to. He's responsible. He shouldn't have that garbage on his plate. Remember? He held up the photos. See? The photos? Aerial photos down there, those aluminum tubes down there? Ah, just in, we've intercepted these communications. Those aluminum tubes. See them down there? They contain weapons of mass cock-a-doodle-doo. Weapons of mass destruction. WMDs. Yeah. Weapons of mass destruction. No. Yeah. Go get them. Killed 165,000 people. All right, these are war crazy things. They've happened, but they aren't happening now. Later on, he said, there were no weapons of mass destruction, and, well, it was collateral damage. Collateral, carcass, cadaver, whose? Theirs aren't important. Whoa, 9/11 was ugly. Yeah. We were beating people up. Yeah. For 50 years, they finally got us on 9/11. I knew wrong. I got that terroristic in nature. Oh, say it wasn't so. We try to maintain IQs of room temp and above. I said try. But it happened to us, not Italy, Japan, or the Eskimos. Karma, guys. Yeah. The truth is there. Yeah. We're allowing our congressmen, we're taking campaign donations to let the, what did Eisenhower call it? The industrial military complex, you know. Yeah. And we've done wrongs. That isn't the bad news. No. Or the good news. No. It's bad news, they're wrongs. But the bad news isn't the good news. The good news is you don't have to do it anymore. No. So you can declare things. You thought of someone they call. Really, you can think of someone in Washington. You don't realize it, but you do it all the time. Besides the little phone call caper, you do this all the time. Some more, some less, some this or that, but you don't realize it. And you're right. You're not doing it as much. You'll think of something, I'm going to do it. Oh, God, I just attended a lecture. I'm so enthused. I'm fired up. And then a little voice might say, I don't know if you can. You see? Or heard music, got you all blown out. That's it. I had a realization, you know, I'm going to do something. Then a voice says, no, you can't. Henry Ford more than made cars. Early 1900s, a little ahead of his time. At least he didn't have the advantage of reading the stuff by Hubbard that I had. Henry Ford said this, quote, whether you say that you can, C-A-N, or you say that you can't, you're right. Wow. That covers it all. I'm going. Thought is boss. What you think, boom. Even further, Hubbard says, look and do. Don't even think it over. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I didn't know this, but he wrote things. He don't believe it. Check it out. Worked a long time. 30-some years out of his pocket. Yeah. My God, for you. That's bad. Boy. Yeah, he's the one who says, among many things, I'll just be picking out a few people and throwing them at you that I've heard over the years. I'm just telling you these, you know. He wrote this. Don't believe anybody. No, don't believe it. Check it out. You'll find out again the following is true. You're a giant who's allowed yourself to be tied down with cotton lint ropes. You're great where to lie, supply the ropes, and how to tie the knots. And he goes on to say, the only difficulty you'll have in one of these counseling sessions, try it, is in removing the ropes, lint ropes, is your concern for others. Ooh, you thought you're bad. No, he said because you're a giant. Like an elephant with a new young one right there, a little newborn. Got to be careful where mom steps. Ouch. Ooh. Pleasant pachyderm. Got to go easy on the little ones, right? I like pachyderms. Rhinos, you know, hippos, I'm into that. You knew there had to be something weird. No, happiness is being free. By the way, a comment by Hubbard. Now, I like his comments, so we'll get back to your creating in a moment. He talks about people, unseriousness is way up. To be unserious is way up. Matters might be. No, I said people. Unserious is way up. It means insouciant, which means terribly unserious, which also includes flippant. Looked it up. Flippant means without regard. Yeah, to other people's layers of caca that they want to dump on you and live in a hell like they do, right? So unserious is way up here. Serious is way down there. Matters might be, but don't have someone. And you want to get something done? You give it to an unserious person. Right. Remember the old saying? I want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Kind of a similar thing, but not the same. So, you create by postulates, by declaring something will be, that will happen, that will exist. Yeah? Beings. Again, it's crazy. But you told me. Wait a minute, you told me. See, beings, a non-physical thing, can cause a physical thing to happen. No. Yeah, this is about Washington. You can do the little phone call thing until you get loose and do it knowingly at will. You can actually do the phone call thing with a Washington guy, yeah. You know, praying, you know, a prayer is you and the guy isn't there praying for someone. Geez, Lori, I'm praying that you're going to be well in an hour. You know, no more sick, okay? She's in another town. I know one like that, right? You're talking to her. Not on the phone, you're praying. You're talking to her. Did she pick it up? She might. Wow. Yeah, you know, I heard the story of a person talking to walls. That's one thing. If they answer back, we got a problem. But you see, you're doing this. Listen, do you want to know a secret? I don't really have anything to talk to you about. There's so little to tell you. A lot of words, there's very little to tell you. When you retrace, you can do it. The homework, check it out. Get a little copy of it. Check it out. Scientology Online, you can check it out. Retrace you. How you did things. What you really are. And what you aren't. You're not things, but you can create things. You told a guy, you said, I thought of Lori, I thought of her once, she called. Swear. Yeah, you've all done it. You don't make a big thing of it and go on to the phone call, right? Of being a non-physical thing. You know, you're not your body, your name, your bad mood, you're you. But specifically, I should have a copy here, sorry, I don't. He tells them the factors, the examination of the human spirit. An examination of the human spirit. The factors. In a book called The Creation of Human Ability. The Creation of Human Ability is one of the books that contains, his other books also have a copy of the factors. It says here, number 1, before the beginning, I'm going to tell these as a paraphrase. They might be very close to quote and actually a quote for a couple of them. I'll only give you a couple, okay? Before the beginning, there was a cause. And the entire purpose of the cause was the creation of effect. That's before the beginning, was the cause. The entire purpose of the cause was the creation of effect. The second one says, in the beginning was the decision, and the decision was to be forever. And then from beingness, right, can be viewpoints. And then from viewpoints, dimension points. And therefore space is created. He'll take you back and walk you through what you're doing, you've forgotten. You've forgotten. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Yeah. You know, the doctors say you're using about 1/100th of your brain. So they're calling a meat part of a meat body. Right. But actually, and you'll find this out, we don't tell you many things because you're the one who knows. All they do is enable you to find out things you already know. With a little hatting, a little coaching, take a little class to set you up. You're actually using about 1/1000th of your beingness that you used to use, but she's sitting right underneath there. And he says this, now if you are a being and not physical, you know this saying, when people die, they don't die, they just grab another body, but you can do it knowingly or with full awareness and be a little picky rather than troubled. Yeah. Yeah. So when people die, they don't. They just grab another body. Well, didn't you? I don't know. I mean, you can find out. Again, without being told or asked to believe. I like it. I'm having this. I'm having this thing. This is good. This is good. Yep. This is all good. Yes, it is. So, a being isn't physical. He defines the spirit, the soul, the being, right? You know? Okay. You have no mass, nothing physical. No wavelength, no mass or wavelength, nor any particular location in space or in time. You just are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's amazing. I wonder if I have, no, I don't have a handy here. I wanted to give you a copy of something. I'll read it next time. The back of these lectures come in, they're discs, DVDs, whatever you call them. They come in a big clamshell casing. Boom. And in there are the little booklets that are a printed transcript also. Yeah. Yeah. You see, like the State of Man Congress. Wow. The State of Man Congress. Oh, man. Things dug up. Wow. All the homework brought to you. Man, so nice. They cost money. You got to buy those, but you can chip in and share them with people. Yeah, you want those. It's not a money thing. No, the masses don't have a lot of money. Don't need to. Need enough to get along, yeah. And then make more. He always says this, by the way, just on money. We'll get to that. Away from the definition of you. Another tidbit, a little gem I thought of. He says, if you don't have enough money, he said, don't worry. If you don't have enough money to pay all the bills in that one paycheck, right? Just make more. Whoo! He didn't say work more hours, the same job. He said, just make more. Yeah. Yeah. And Jeb Bush, the former governor of Florida, made a very bright statement. He said, you can't save your way into prosperity. No. Abundance is the best survival. Hubbard says of himself, he always says 3 or 4 or more ways of income, each of which would supply the entire amount. grow it and grow it and get it going. Then you have no pressure of the hell. If something doesn't work out, you're fine. Yeah. I'm giving you little droplets. Back to you. The definition of a being. You're not physical. You have no mass. Just get your own copy. He says, don't try and be a book. Let someone go off in a corner without social influence and read the book. Then I'll just be a little bit of a tell you about it here. You can't imagine, figure of speech, it's true, what you can find out, again, without being told or asked to believe. Nothing wrong with beliefs, my God. In fact, this group, Scientology, set up another nonprofit that fights for the rights for all religions. Oh, some you and I wouldn't get involved in. Moonies, Hare Krishnas, I don't know. Really? All of them to have a right. A right for beliefs. Because psychiatry set up something called ARM, Anti-Religion Movement, right? To cut funding from religion so to go towards psychiatry, yeah. And they set up a thing called Cult Awareness Network, CAN, C-A-N. And they have these deprogrammers, exit counselors. They go and capture people, kidnap them, throw them in the trunk of a car, take them out and beat them up. The Goodman case, G-O-O-D-M-A-N. How do we know the Goodman case? Because it was in the news in Jersey. Goodman, a Jew, wanted to be a Catholic, so his parents hired these goons to capture him, threw him in the trunk of a Lincoln Town Car out in the boonies and beat him up until he said, okay, I won't be a Catholic. Yeah. They played around. Listen, Connie Chung and Diane Sawyer were the big news anchors in the 90s. ABC and CBS. Connie Chung and Diane Sawyer, okay? The big news anchors. And competing networks, ABC and CBS. The same night, the 6 o'clock news, it was at 5:30 in the Midwest, right? They both had the same story. We'll get back to you. The same lead story. Psychiatry sends bounty hunters out to factories or places to get people perfectly healthy, kicking and screaming to grab them and lock them up, right? Why? And people thought it was official, right? Because there's an insurance policy, $900,000. Get a tape, $900,000 to $1.2 million. So they pay the bounty hunter $200,000. Yeah. Guy's kicking and screaming and perfectly healthy. What's this? Well, because there was insurance to cover it. Oh, no. Diane Sawyer and Connie Chung carried the story. They were both the same. It didn't solve psychiatry, but it gave you a little hint. You see? Yeah. Yeah. I got a kick out of, who's in that Scientology? My God, right? Look out the door. Look outside. A through Z, every kind. Yeah. Yep. Beings that have every kind of a body or name or ethnicity or religion. What the heck? It doesn't make any difference. Back to you. You're a being. Find this out. In the creation of human ability, the factors, it'll say, wish I had the book here. Next time we'll talk about an examination of the human spirit and something else, whatever, the dates and the things. Long time he studied from the 20s to the, 40s or 50s, something like that. Yeah, for that particular thing. And it starts out in the beginning. No, before the beginning, there was a cause, and the entire purpose of the cause was the creation of effect. You want a cause and effect, yeah. And then in the beginning, again, was the decision, and the decision was to be forever. And from beingness, one can have viewpoints, and from viewpoints, dimension points. And with dimension points, space is created. Yeah, no, I can't give any more here because it would not, no, you have to get it completely and straight and precisely. Yeah. But as far as what this thing is, before I finish the point of how you can get people to do things until they can, again, you're aware of something needs to be done, and they aren't, so you can go and fix it, right? Yeah. But what he discovered here, again, I keep saying it's so simple. There's very little to tell you. He has a written bunch of stuff, discoveries, all printed in these books. Go get them. If you can't afford them, right? No. Get a couple, 3 people to chip in together. They're all textbook quality. See this book here? Tip it up to that down. See this? How these gold things dividing? This is hardcore textbook quality. The kind that cost around $60, $70, $80. They're real good books. Like law books, I think are even a grade higher than those. They have to last. Rather than the books that are the novel or fiction books in the bookstore, $18, $28, something like that. They don't last. They aren't read that much. You'll want this. to be the quality that it is. For $42.50 it used the price. It's their cost. They're nonprofit. Rather than $60 or $70, $80 for whatever they normally cost. I don't know. I'm not in the book business. No. And people, a couple things you can get online free. Scientology courses online. Yeah. It'll amaze you. Yeah. Free. We didn't have that when we began this, but they didn't have online. They're free. It's a nonprofit. No. It's not a come on or a bait to get you to spend money. They're nonprofit. Their books have been audited by the government for 50-some years. Get over it. Don't borrow another's karma, okay? Don't do that. Don't let somebody take something of yours, the right to get you back, to rediscover you. You can't become, well, I like this one. You can't become something. That's totally crap. No, you already are. And he says this, if we are a being, not physical, and really have a body now and, whatever, right? And then if we're around a long time before, like some people think, he says this, a comment, any abilities you had thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago, if you're a spirit and live longer, right? You have not lost any abilities that you have, that you had back then. You have not lost one bit of your abilities. You've just reduced your willingness to apply them because of layers of life. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and the discovery, and again, I like this. Why would someone else have to discover something about you and me? Well, here it is. Well, because we got buried. Haven't you ever helped people? I'm going to take a minute and tell you. I happen to know, a little bird told me, so to speak. You've helped people? How many? Have you? You got tens of times? Hundreds? Thousands? Huh? Yeah. Yep. So here you go. There's a way to unpeel life's layers. There's the rest of you underneath. Yeah. You can't become anything you already are. 3 parts of mankind. The beingness, there's 3 things. There's the beingness, and then from that, the doingness. And then from doingness, you have things, the havingness. True, some things that people do aren't so good. Beings are all basically good, he said. That's a discovery. They're all good. Basically, at the start. How can it be bad before it decided to be? Remember, in the beginning, right? There was a decision, and the decision was to be forever. Before that, before the beginning, there was a cause, and the entire purpose of the cause was to create effect. Before the beginning. And then in the beginning was a decision, and the decision was to be forever. But see, before it decided to be, how can you be bad? You haven't done anything. Bad means doingness, right? You can't theorize someone's bad. They haven't done anything. And it would have to be a doingness. But you're not what you do. It's yours. But do something good. You get credit for it. Something not good. Fix it best you can. But you're not what you do. You're not a thing. You're a not thing. So how can you be things? Things done. Things done, good, bad, or otherwise, are things. You're not a thing. But we get pinned to them. We don't realize that. There you go. So, back to the handling of the scene in Washington. You can just declare, postulate, post, to put it there. Thought is boss. Thought precedes everything. And he'll pick it up. Maybe not. Go get rid of some of your life's layers and get that thing back again that you would have played softball with planets. I don't know. Huh? I don't know. Interesting. I like this comparison. One of my friends told me years ago, if you were to compare, for example, a Bill Gates in size, or Buffett, or Bezos, compared to a bum on the street, right? As a societal compare, obviously the bum on the street doesn't compare in magnitude of doing this and things like a Bill Gates or a Jeff Bezos, right? But actually, the difference between those two, from a certain viewpoint, is so thin. Hold your fingers together with no space between them at all, nothing. And then barely open it. That's the difference between those two in this sense. For the guy in the street, the bum, conditionally speaking, to even have a body and kicking it around is amazing. And then you just went down the chute, right? And the other guy is more than kicking his body. They're very similar from a larger viewpoint. If you look at a guy who works at a convenience store, like a 7-Eleven, you see, not the student while working through school, but a guy who's going to permanently do it. There's nothing wrong, but he feels that's his pay grade, right? That guy used to play softball with planets, actually. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. He can find out. And another guy used to make planets. This guy used to bash them. He'd make them. I don't know. Well, we aren't into that. No, we're into this thing right here. Boots on the ground, right? So this crap about, right? They're glad to tell you. Newsweek, exclusive. Right. The Ukraine crisis could lead to a nuclear war under the new U.S. strategy. No, Biden doesn't want that. You saw it. Jen Psaki, beautiful. We'll get again to doing this in a minute. Beautiful red-haired thing. She's so incredibly beautiful in her brilliance and in her words. Wow. Oh my God. Oh. She doesn't have a lot of script that she has to tell that we don't like. The other one before her, Kayleigh McEnary, the blonde that worked under Trump, bright too, but she had a script that wasn't quite as good. A difference. Jen Psaki, this is about wars. Recently, we told you that Biden will not do these wars his own guys are saying that he's going to do. If Russia does anything against Ukraine, we're going to go in there and do a war, right? Yeah. No. We told you this. We told you. You told us. You're the one who said you thought of something and they called. I'm just telling you what we've done. I'm not interested in what I've done. I'm interested in what you are going to do. You know how you know? Because you're doing it anyway and don't realize it will get you doing it more than you used to. When you open up again. Jen Psaki. Biden's communication director. Yep. Right. We retract. We wrote it in the talk before, title and description. Biden will not do wars. We had to write it because you're being told he will. Lo and behold, did you do this or did I? It doesn't matter who. Jen Psaki is saying it. That's what counts. Yeah, it might be your turn to say this. You tell her, and then she tells us. She said, we retract the word imminent. E-M-M-I-N-E-N. It's imminent, meaning it's going to happen. We retract what we said, that it was imminent, that Russia would invade Ukraine. Because, she said, that implies we know that he's made a decision that he will. It is not true, she said. That's a reversal of this stuff. Like here, Newsweek, yesterday, now since then, Newsweek says, they're saying, Newsweek is saying, Biden isn't saying, Ukraine crisis could lead to nuclear war under the new U.S. strategy. And then it goes on to talk about, we read the thing to you. It's not true. It is not true. Not at all true. No. We read this to you, and it gave specifics and all this stuff. The program would be non-nuke things, a combination, a little different than before, the airstrike, the airplanes flying around, and the ground troops and the tanks and all this stuff, right? But the problem is, they're saying, and it's really a bright thing to say, the way we would do that now could confuse the other side to thinking the next step is a nuclear war, versus before we wouldn't have confused them. See? Guess what? There's no war. No. It's hysteria. Hubbard pointed out, which you probably knew, right? He pointed this out, didn't he? He said, terrorism isn't the damage, it's the threat of it. And people have been carrying in the back of their minds for a long time. Unrealizedly or realizedly, on and off, maybe, right, that they worried there's going to be a nuke war. Yeah. And he says one won't be harmed by the particles of the radiation through the air. No. You can get a copy of this lecture. Get one. Look it up. All about radiation. There's a book he wrote. It's not the nuclear particles, nuclear radioactive particles, radiation floating through the air that'll harm you. No. It's the hysteria they evolved to hysteria that freaks out and gets people so beaten down they don't think there's hope anymore. I have some wonderful quotes by this guy Hubbard. I don't have them lined up for this talk. Yeah. Oh, are they there? Yeah, they are. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah. Yeah, here's one. Let me just check and see if it's on the top. Didn't have this prepared. Imagine that. We're just a live streamer. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there's some really, really heavy things here that you need to know. But I'm going to give you one about illness. This is a discovery. You know, some people are sort of prone or allergenic. There's sort of a tendency to have allergies. You know about that, right? You can look these up. And we found out that some of these, as you've known over the years, are psychosomatic, meaning worry or thought-based, okay? But here's something interesting. He says the answer lies not in the cure at all. No. It lies in a person's desire to become ill. You see? Layers of life, or to have an accident. Layers of life. You just give me something, right? He says you cannot prevent illness with other physical means, because illness is basically a created function. The guy mocks up to be ill and he's ill. And by the way, usually, because he's around someone who's being evil, and no one kicks a dead dog, yeah, we'll decide to get the cold or have a flu, or have a wreck, and won't be a target for abuse anymore. Yeah, interesting. It's a little bit of discovery by this guy. Yeah, Hubbard. Yeah. Talks about a road you've seen for years that goes for miles, no problem. All of a sudden, oh, there's a cross on the road. Somebody died. Okay, and they put flowers up, right? Then suddenly more and more pop up in the same location when there never were any. A little thing behind that, we'll get to that, Yeah. So, here we go. Yes. He says here about being upset. Yes. 2 ways to go out of control. 1, to get upset and go down and throw bricks through the Prime Minister's window or to the White House window. There's quite another way. It's simply to lie down and die and quit. Yeah. You see? When you get one of these overwhelming mysteries, you get mental upsets. What am I supposed to do? You see? What am I supposed to do? These are little writings from Ron. We're going to go over these next and give you the reference on where you can find these, as I did. I wrote them by hand, notes from, and they're a little hard to read. But anyway, this is interesting, yeah. So, he gets upset. What am I supposed to do? Well, he can't do anything. So he gets sick. He gets various mental reactions to this, and the broadest of them all is his first look at this. And he gets to hysteria. He feels he should react, but he doesn't know which direction to react, and that's the main problem. It's hard to read, but you want this. I'm giving you one little teaser, okay? But that's the main problem. He doesn't know which way to go, because it can't do anything to strike back these threats, right? Against the thing. Yeah. They're then liable to strike at things which are not connected to the thing. You see? All right. So you would have a tumultuous, you see, a control of society, and that's the only danger. That wasn't the one I wanted, okay? Nah. Yeah. That's not the one. Yeah, that's not the one. Bear with me, people. I don't know if I can give you this. I don't want to take more time. We weren't planning on this, just thought of it. These are things I, having gathered a few things over the years, wanted to give you. That again, a being, a thetan, we call it, thinker. Thought means, in Greek, is theta, and thus a thinker would be a thetan. So a being, we call a being a thetan, a thinker. That's you. You create by postulates. Everything you have, you quick thought, you forget, I'm going to do See, the thought, and then the next day or a week later, you go and work on it. But the thought preceded everything. Thought is boss. And you declare you're going to do something. You post it, like posting a sign. You write it down, or you say it, or tell people, or tell yourself. Right? You postulate it, that it will be, and it happens. A being. This is so big. There's a title of a lecture. A being. This is called the Philadelphia Doctorate Series. Oh, it's doctorate quality. Guys, I've been to an Ivy League school and back. Those were nice. This is doctorate quality. The Philadelphia Doctorate Course Series. A Thetan, one lecture is called A Thetan Creates by Postulates. A being, you, the thinker. Thetan means thought. Thetan means thinker. You, a being. We call a being. We call you the spirit, soul, being, you. A Thetan. A Thetan creates. He just says, notice this, check it out. And when you unpeel life's layers, you'll be back doing that to the point where you'll have to take it easy. Yeah? Yeah? We had abilities long ago, and only because we got a little bit out of line, we lost them. If we lived before as a being, we're not physical. So you create by postulates. You can actually cause another to think. The phone call was a light example. Sorry about the delay on the papers, guys. I just thought of something. I hoped it might have been right on the top of the pile. I could read it to you. The writing is very hard to read. Anyway, so you forget that everything you have, everything you've done, everything that happened for you, you just declared it would happen. Yeah. Yeah, you thought some of the phone rang. Yeah, you guys talked, I don't know what about, but you didn't use bodies. But he got your comm, as we say, and then he calls you. You got you a non-physical thing, got him a non-physical thing to operate a physical thing. In India, we told you, Buddha, Gautama Siddhartha was his name. He got the common people, we told you. Not magicians, it's commoners on the street. They're sitting there in all dirty clothes and throwing a ball around or something. And then they also can look at a piece of rope and up she goes. They can decide they can decide a rope goes up 2 feet or so. We're not into rope, but a non-physical thing caused the physical thing to go up, right? Well, that's over there. That's part of their culture. They didn't happen to have layers of life holding that down, you see. Whereas over here, we don't have that. Well, you do. You just told me you thought of someone and the phone rang. You thought of someone, you got them, or they decided, you got them. You, a non-physical thing, got them a non-physical thing to grab a physical thing and call you, and call your physical thing. Yeah. You as a being, we could take it for granted. Don't worry about you, me too. We're non-physical, and we decide, we'll move our body, a physical thing, jump in the car, a physical thing, go to the store. And we're led to believe that we are our body, we are our brain and all that, right? Yeah, it works, it's kind of automatic. So is a dog's body, right? But there's someone at home there. So to show you how we aren't a body, don't go to the store for a couple of weeks and don't buy any food or water and see how that thing's going. Yeah. As they say, when people die, they don't, get another body. They don't tell you anything. They have no answers if this place, Scientology, no. Look it up. Go online, check it out. Yeah, check it out. Be surprised the number of people involved who like it. Yeah, you don't get into it. No, it gets you out of things you didn't know that you're into if you want to. And they have the can to and the how to. And the counseling gets you out of the mud. The training, to be trained, keeps you from going back in. They'd much rather have you take a class than to buy counseling from them by the hour. No, they're not. No, take the class. You can counsel, and they're very standard. Oh, Lord, you'll know what that is. They're nice, but it's standard. It doesn't work if it isn't. You counsel a friend counsels you. Free course to do that for the lower levels. Have a live person, a live course supervisor to get you through it. Yeah, of course. Then you counsel a friend counsels you. It's free. For the next level, we told you, the medium level, no, you have to go in and buy a course. Oh my God, you have to pay for something? Yeah, a class. And you'll have a course supervisor. Oh, believe me, you'll like it. Yeah. Yeah. They don't teach. They guide you through. No, they don't teach you anything. The materials are there. They'll see that you're doing well and handling these up. So you counsel the friend, and the friend counsels you. Middle level is free. Just pay for the upper level. Again, you have to pay for it by the hour because it's very unique stuff, right? Very highly trained people. But you'll want to. No, they won't tell you want to. No, you'll be saying it. And it must be affordable if people wouldn't do it. So, there's always a small percent that are, like Einstein said, a negative person will always find a problem for every solution. Oh my, well, nice guy. Smart guy. He also is the one who said, I do not know what weapons will be used to fight World War III. I do know that World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Sticks and stones. We're looking out here at traffic. Isn't that great? Wow. Biden does not want it. None of the people do, but they're led to believe they may have to have nukes. And Iran, by the way, is not the who. Somebody said, it's been a while since they invaded anybody, Iran. It was 700 or 800 years. No, they want nuclear power. Power for energy, like France, 75% nuclear. Yeah. Energy, yeah. Yeah. You see? There you go. So people, I just wanted to make it clear because they didn't put it in the last thing. You can get another. Well, you did it. Don't pick on me. You're the one who did it, or knew of someone who did, or you did. You thought of someone and the phone rang. Yeah, you got them to do that. And they call and you say you're just thinking about them. Yeah, you were. And they picked it up. So it's so simple, I've told you, because I'm saying independently, it's just a customer. Buy a book, take a class, get the counseling. This stuff is so simple, it's stupid simple. And there isn't really hardly anything to tell you. No, a lot of words to say hardly anything. There's not a lot to rediscover. No, get rid of things that aren't you. All they have is you get to find out things you already knew, and believe me, you haven't known them for a while. A knife in the leg, I got that. Take it out, go to the doctor, get the cut fixed, right? But you might want to know why it came about. Or you have a car crash or more than one? No, it's not the car crash, it's what's going on. They have a special thing where you can go in and find that out, Yeah. You can do it at home, free, by the way, free course online. Yeah. All injuries, mistakes, upsets, he said, don't believe it. All injuries, upsets, mistakes, accidents, and illnesses. No, not what they are. No, why? All occur only because you were linked to someone who is suppressive. Suppress, sub, means below, like a submarine. Press means to push, hold. Yeah. Suppress, to hold you down, to squash you, to make less of you, to make you feel uncertain about your reaching. All illnesses. If you don't believe that one, it's a whopper. You'll find out. With your own interview, get rid of whatever the why, W-H-Y, the reason that things are happening to you. Yeah, there's a reason why. We know how bad the guy was to you, but why it's happening to you. Ooh. Oh, it's not okay what he did. No one kicks a dead dog, I'll get sick, sprain an ankle, get the flu, so he won't be a target for abuse anymore, see? All illnesses, all of them, don't believe, stem only, to a greater or lesser degree, to being plugged into someone who's doing that. Mistakes happen only in the presence of suppression. Mistakes, people doing stupid things, is a sign there's a suppressive around. Check it out. Free course online, handling sources of suppression. It's free. It's priceless. You'll be an animal. The small percent that do that crap, they'll see that look in your eye and they'll run. And maybe they'll get rid of their act. You see? We'll be back, people. A little excitement. Want to let you know. We'll tell more about it next time. There's a little to tell. It's hard to tell because it's a little hard to explain of what you do to get things done. Yeah. All right. We will be back. And this is, again, the 5th of February, 2022. We're very low-key, quiet, riot, mild child. We're low-key, sharing with you things. As a customer, buy a book, take a class, do the counseling. We're just a customer. But Biden won't be nuking. Have a little more information as to why, okay? Maybe you do. He won't be nuking. No, he won't. He won't be going to war. No, he will not. Nor will Putin. He doesn't want war. People are misleading it and goading, promoting war. They're warmongers. These guys don't want war. Kim Jong-un didn't want war. No. No. None really do. We'll show you more about that next time. Till then,